And we're rolling! Hello, this is FD from Rolling with FD. And I want to tell you about the 5,000 subscriber contest. If you can help us get to 5,000 subscribers, we have something for you. First, subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe, you make yourself eligible for the contest. After you subscribe, leave your favorite player or players in the comments and let us know who those players are. And once you subscribe and leave your favorite players, you're eligible for the contest. First place for those who win, you'll get a card or cards of your favorite players listed up to $1,000. Second place, the second place winner will receive one card or cards of your favorite players listed up to $250. And for third place, there will be 5 winners. Each winner will receive one piece of Rolling with FD merch, and one lucky winner of those 5 will receive 2 pieces of Rolling with FD merch. Please remember, to enter the contest, you first need to subscribe, and second, you need to leave your favorite player or players in the comments. Once you do both, you have entered the Rolling with FD Road to 5,000 subscriber contest. Help us get there. We really want to, but we know we can't do it without your help. Thank you. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is FD from Rolling with FD, and we're back with part 2 of the Del Mar Show by the Union Marketplace. And in this episode, you want to stick around. We have interviews with some great people in the hobby. Sasha T, Prizm Gawd, Mojo Sports, Mama Breaks, and Jeremy Lee from Sports Cars Live and Tag Grading. This thing is hot, people. You saw me in the last episode submit some cars to PSA, but now I'm submitting more cars to the Slab Doctor to take a look at and let me know what they look like and how they might grade. Also, stick around to the very end. I'm going to add a cool car to my PC for one of my favorite people in the hobby. It's going down, folks. Are y'all ready? Are you all ready? G, hit them with it. Tell them where we're going. Junior, hit them with it. Now you're singing, son.
Hi everyone, it's Monique from Drip and it's Drip time.
I want to tell everyone out there about Drip. Drip is a live streaming platform where you can buy sports cards, Pokemon cards, Funkos, or other collectible items at the click of a button from your phone. Use my link here and in the description below to receive $15 off your first purchase of $20 or more anywhere in the app. Remember to use my code on dripshot.live for $15 off your first purchase. Jeremy Lee from the podcast Sports Cars Live, and also from Tag Grading. Jeremy, I want to start out by just asking you, at what age did you first start collecting?
I started collecting at the age of 8, buying some hockey cards at the corner store with my cousins, my friends, and that was back in the early 1980s, and I have not stopped since then.
I also started at 8, ironically, 83 Don Manley cars, buying stuff from places like Torreville, 7-Eleven, other places that had cars. Totally different now than where I would get them. Who is your GOAT? There's a lot of debate about GOATs in the NBA. People name many different names. Who is your GOAT in the NBA, in your opinion, and why?
It's a good question. It's not a hard question to answer. I think, first of all, we do use the term GOAT in the hobby quite loosely, but I like to say the GOATs travel in herds, so there can be more than one GOAT. But I have to go with Michael Jordan. I think it's a pretty obvious answer. I grew up watching the NBA in the 80s. I was a Pistons fan back in the Bad Boys days, and I remember them going up against the Trailblazers and then the Bulls. Clyde Drexler, Clyde the Glide, of course, Michael Jordan. So I'm going to go with Michael Jordan as for my all-time basketball GOAT, and I'm sure I'm not alone on that.
I also agree with you. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the GOAT. What are you looking for at the show this weekend?
I always like to, wander through the aisles, checking out all the showcases, looking at all the beautiful cardboard on display. You go up to booths and people ask you, what are you looking for? What do you collect? And my answer is, I collect from 1888 to 2022 all sports. Then they kind of just look at you like, oh, so just about everything. I say, yeah, I love cardboard. I picked up a couple cards here today. My favorite one so far was the Tiger Woods Jambalaya from the new Skybox Metal Universe from Upper Deck.
Great card.
Yeah, I love it. Great looking card.
Jeremy, I really want to thank you for coming by.
Thank you for inviting me and having me, FD. You're doing a great job hosting this event. You are the man for the job, and I want to shout out the Union Marketplace, their whole team, for putting on what is really an amazing event. I haven't seen a card show this well organized in a long time. So congratulations to the Union Marketplace, and thanks to you, FD.
Thank you, brother. Sasha T. Madden.
Appreciate you for having me, brother.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be here.
First question I have for you is, what advice would you give to someone just started in a hobby or some part of our young community that's in a hobby on how to navigate some things they want to think about?
Yeah, so for collecting, I would just say, like, just how ultimate pastime is, buy what you like and go that route. Don't try to, like, overreach or extend yourself on items, especially when you're a kid, right? From a business aspect, I would say take it slow, especially right now. Like right now, the market, people are a little down, and stocks are down, real estate's down, even cards are down. So with that comes a lot of opportunity. But also with that, you need to get a deep understanding of the market and the specific cards and the specific sets and all that good stuff too. So you don't need to rush into it, but just know there's a lot of opportunity. If you take your time and you do your due diligence and you put in the work, I think you'll do some good stuff.
Just on a personal note, like what are some things that you even think about like Sasha T?
Super interesting, that question. I think for me, I always think about it, I'm like, all right, like where was I like 3 years ago? Right? Like 3 years ago, I was in school, I was working jobs to get through school. And now, 3 years later, I started a business in cards where I can literally travel the world, buying and selling and trading sports cards.
Yeah.
So for me, from just that simple standpoint, that's dope. I mean, there's not a lot more you can ask for.
I pride myself on trying to build a strategy, and I know that from watching that you build strategies as well. Just speak to the importance of having one's own strategy, how they may go about developing it, some things they may want to think about.
For sure, yeah. I mean, when I first got in, my whole strategy was buy raw cards, trade it, and sell it. And I would do that over and over and
You did a darn good job of that.
and over again. So that was my strategy. Today, I don't do as much trading, although I really want to get back into it more just because the value is there. But for me today, like I've had the ability and the pleasure of building a network of people that either they're like, hey Sasha, I'm looking for this card, or I want this, or I want that. So I kind of have an idea of the stuff I'm going after when I go into shows and I'm buying auction houses and stuff like that. So that's more of the strategy today. There are some plays I like making out just because I think the biggest players undervalued or the set is undervalued, whatever it is. But a lot of what I'm doing today is, getting, the customers that I have, getting them into positions where I can give them the card and they always want it. Whether that's they have, they're looking for a $20,000 card and, they have $22,000 in trade value and I'm able to give them that $20,000 card and taking that trade. Customers really like that, enjoy that. I think that's also one of the reasons why, people come back is because they do have that ability.
They found out.
Yeah, exactly.
Sasha, I can't tell you how excited I am to have you on, talk to you, ask you some questions. I really appreciate your time.
We gotta go more.
Yes. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Right now I have a special guest that I've wanted to talk to and have on for quite a while. We have Jay, Mojo Sports. How you doing, sir?
Great, man. How are you?
Doing very well. We're going to ask you a few questions today.
Let's do it.
First question, with your travels around the country, because you see a lot of shows throughout the United States, what are some trends that you see at different markets when you're out and about?
I've noticed that I like going to the shows that nobody goes to, like Indiana. And I've been learning a lot through different cities that are not the mainstream shows. Like going to Indiana was a really good experience, and then going straight to Kentucky, it was really cool. So I don't just go to shows. I go to like a card shop, or I'll plan like a whole week out of it. I don't just go somewhere for 3 days. I go for like a week and a half or two. So it's kind of cool.
Do you get to learn more about the market overall, what trends are, what's going on? So tell me how you got interested in the hobby. You say you started collecting at 15. Tell us a story about how you really sought out cards and became interested in what was going on in the hobby.
Yeah, so I'd say I started getting autographs. I would go up to players and just like with rookie cards, and I'd say, "Can I have your autograph?" And I would just like they would like sign stuff for me. And then I started Bryce Harper was the biggest 2011 Bowman. There was a kid named Bryce Harper from Vegas, and he was like the guy that you could buy, and like you'd open the pack, and if you pulled his card, you could sell for like 75 to 100, and that was a big deal. And that was like the flipping. And then I used to buy Kobe Bryant autographs for like $80 and sell them. I'd buy LeBron James autographs really cheap, and I would just like flip them. But when I was in high school, it wasn't cool to collect.
It wasn't.
It wasn't at all. Like it was like I had people tell me like, "Man, that's so lame. You collect cards." Da 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 da. yo, Woods, you're the GOAT. And now it's cool. Like, we're in a culture shift. And like, one thing that like, I didn't go to the industry summit, but the old wave of collecting and the old regime of like the old school collectors, like my generation and the generation that's coming after mine is going to take over. And like, people need to be ready for that because it's a culture change. Just collecting cards and collecting sneakers and all these communities, it's all intertwining now.
So we've seen some market changes from 2021 to 2022. What are some things that you may be thinking about, or some strategies you may be building that you would give advice to other people to think about in 2023?
I mean, we're in a recession, dude. I'm going to be straight up. People are not buying cards over $2,000 right now. The price point right now is between $1,000 and $1,000. I've sold cards between $1,000 and $1,000. Everything else above $2,000, I've been trading in. Anything $2,000, $10,000, I've traded. Nobody's coming into this show with $100,000 cash to buy the $2,000 Herbert autograph anymore. It's done.
That's true.
And I don't think people realize that, or you're in denial. The truth is in 2011, when I was collecting, when I was 14, people were spending between $1 and $250. Now the price point, there's a lot more money involved in the hobby. $1 between $1 and $1,000. People in this show right now, most of the stuff I've sold is between $100 and $300. So I mean, it's just, I'm telling you, we're in a recession. People have to afford things. Everybody's back in college now. The reason why is because there's a lot of different priorities. We're in a recession.
You look at the NBA, you look at NBA history. Who do you think is the GOAT of the NBA?
DeMarcus Cousins.
My man. I love it.
My ranking, and I've stood by this for a while, it goes Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. I can respect that.
I know you're going to put Bill Russell. What are you putting at number one?
Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
All right, who's number two?
Well, you know, I go way back.
I remember this last time.
You know, Oscar Robertson
Oh my gosh.
bumps up to my number two.
All right.
I was starting to get controversial. Right? Mojo Sports, Jay is in the house.
Subscribe on YouTube. We're almost at 30K.
Yeah, Mojo is almost at 30K. Push him over the top. Hello, everyone. This is the great interview that we're about to have. Even though it's at the end of the day, this is a great interview. Someone I want to talk to for quite a while and get their perspective on some things. We have Cblez here.
It's a pleasure to get to talk to you. Glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. So let me start by just asking, what's your experience been at the show?
The show's been great. I didn't go to the last one. This is my first time here. It's been great. Did a bunch of deals, talked to a bunch of new people. It was fun. I had a great time.
So I've asked a few other people. You typically have a strategy about how you enter an idea or a decision-making process about buying cars. How would you verbalize to people kind of some of the steps you go through at a high level to think about what your buying strategy is and how do you execute?
So I like to take multiple strategies at the same time. So I'll take a bunch of cards and say I want to hold them for a long time, but then I'll also be in the daily market of flipping too. And for the flipping part, you kind of just have to find like the most liquid player, the person who like everybody's talking about at the show. And in this show, I'd probably say Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are probably like the hottest football players. And then you got a bunch of basketball players who are hot too, Anthony Edwards, Ja. If you can find good deals on players like that, it's easier to sell those guys. So if you're trying to flip, you want to buy the guys that are hot that people are talking about. Besides that, also, I'll look for certain rare cards that I want to hold for a long time, and I'll say, this card, I just want to keep it and see what happens in like 2 or 3 years. I'll buy rookie young basketball players or football, and I'll just hold them and see what happens too.
What are some things that you're thinking about as we come to the end of 2022 and we're going into 2023 that you're seeing some changes in the market? What are some things you're thinking about for the future on how you may alter some of your strategy going forward?
So I think people are definitely, they want like more rare stuff, I would say right now. So you got to adjust. As the market adjusts, you got to adjust with it. And I think you want to go for more rare stuff. People are leaning more towards autograph cards, especially on-card autographs. So I've kind of been focusing on stuff like that recently.
Can you share with everyone how you when and how you really got interested in the hobby and what made you passionate about collecting sports cards?
So I have 2 older brothers, and they've always been in it since I can remember. And sports, I love sports. Basketball, baseball, football, I watched all of them. And it's just, sports cards kind of ties in a lot of principles with business and sports. So I always just found a love for it because my dad he's in the business world, he's in the corporate world. My brother, he plays poker, he does sports stuff. So I kind of had like a mix of multiple worlds. And sports cards kind of combined all those worlds. So I instantly fell in love with it since I was 8 years old. I never left the hobby, always been collecting. It's been amazing.
I've also started collecting at 8 years old, so we have that in common. One question I've asked a few people today that I want to ask you, because I want to get your perspective. It's a serious question for me, being from Chicago. When you think of NBA history, and you think of the GOAT, who do you think is the GOAT in the NBA?
I mean, for me, I like to go based off what I saw with my own two eyes. So I was born in 1995. I missed most of the Jordan era. I didn't really see much. So for me, the best player that I've seen in my life is LeBron James, obviously, because I didn't see Michael Jordan. I want evidence from myself to believe it. I know Michael Jordan's one of the best players ever, but I like LeBron. I don't really like LeBron, but I respect that he is the best.
And I respect that answer. You know I got nothing but love for Chicago.
I mean, I wish I saw Michael Jordan. I look at it as like an honor to watch some of these guys play.
Yes.
Like Luka Doncic, the fact that we get to watch him like on a regular basis, we're going to look back. It's going to be in a long time, but the fact that we get to watch this guy play, he could be a 1 in 100 years type of player. I honestly believe that.
Do you think Luka is the player that after LeBron is gone, Steph is gone, KD is gone, will take the reins and be the face and the leader of the NBA? Or do you see someone else doing that?
I think it's going to be him or Giannis, depending. But I don't think anyone else is in their class right now in terms of young players. I think Zion could get there, but he has to prove it for a long time before you could firmly say that. Giannis and Luka are definitely on a level by themselves in terms of like the under 27 players.
Cblez, I really appreciate your time sitting down, answering some questions, letting us know a lot more about you, your experience at the show thus far, and I really appreciate you.
Anytime. I appreciate what you do for the hobby. I love what you do, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that was great.
It was a great experience talking to Cblez, but you all know that I dropped some cards off at the Slab Doctor. Let's go see the doctor. Let's stop by, pick him up, see what's up with him. Always a good conversation. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on these.
All right, so as with most thicker cards, NT, flawless, immaculate, etc., they're prone to dings, and breakers don't always take the best care of cards as they're pulling them out. It's a very soft surface, so what that means is hard surface is going to win.
Understood.
The card's a soft surface. So let's see, the Debo is absolutely gorgeous. You've got one small gouge on the backside in, back left. Card is gorgeous.
I got that off eBay, and I analyzed pictures, in detail. I asked for extra pictures. Felt pretty good about that.
The front of that card nearly always scratches to heck, and it's gorgeous. Patch, sick. Absolutely sick. Anything in a 10, right? In a 10, it's gonna look good, right? They do that on purpose. I would shoot for a BGS.
Okay.
There's an outside chance. If you hit a 9, on edge, that has a strong chance of hitting 9.5. Because the other 3 subgrades are that good. Okay. Let's see, the Weissman out of 75 was one of the nicer ones. Nothing really crazy except for front edges. You got 2 slight dings here. Okay, back, it's not that it's not important, but it's definitely less important when it comes to a grader's eyes. The front side is very, very solid. You got a small issue, if I remember correctly, through the S on Weissman right here. You're looking at a strong 8.85.
But don't grade the auto?
Now, if you grade PSA, card only. And the reason for that, you'll notice, they want players to stay within the area, right? And as soon as you go onto another surface, right, which this does right here, now the auto gets lost. They don't like that.
But if I graded back it,
You have no choice.
Yeah, you have to, that's right.
Yeah.
Remember that, yep.
And they are, at least in the last 6 to 8 months, have been significantly more lenient when it comes to grading autos than PSA has. Okay?
What do you think about the 99?
Let's see. Darn near. So an issue top to bottom. You're right. You're approaching that 60-40. I generally don't like to leave things to chance, right? So in my head, I'm already taking a point off for centering. So top to bottom, it's a little heavy on the top. And then the rest of the card was darn near perfect out of the 99. So you've got a small, extra, tiny, minuscule chip in the paint. Outside of that, card's really nice. I would 100% go BGS on that card. Spectra, what did I see? Okay, so you got a pretty significant dot. You can probably see it through in this area right here. Okay, it's just a print issue, but it's a pretty deep print issue. Outside of that, card's gorgeous. You did a really good job. Like these.
I try to analyze pictures really well. All these off eBay.
Really?
These two I purchased from someone, but I asked for additional pictures. This is off eBay. This is off eBay. This is off eBay.
You scored on that one.
Yeah.
That of all the bunch, like I know there's probably some more valuable. That's my favorite. That's well done. I'm a 49ers guy, so.
Yeah, I remember.
And then this one, biggest issue on the player. It's very difficult to see them, so you wouldn't even be able to see them in a picture that somebody sent. But you've got two small lines going over the player. Most people will miss them, PSA and BGS won't, right? And then you've got your centering that's beyond 60-40, right? So point here, likely hitting an 8, but if somebody's being friendly and doesn't ding you a full point, very well easily with PSA could hit a 9 there.
And what about this one here?
And the Origins, this was actually the nicer of the two. Two biggest issues, no damage, just corner wear. You've got slight whitening here and slight whitening there. Card's darn near perfect otherwise.
Sir, I appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. This is a special conversation that we're about to have with a very special person in the hobby. Stephanie Mama Breaks is here to say hello to everyone. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you for that introduction, FD. I'm happy to be here. And hello, everyone.
It's good to be here at the Del Mar Show by the Union Marketplace on this Sunday. And we have a few questions for you. I know you've done some traveling. You've been several different places throughout the country. What are some things you've noticed in different markets as far as cars selling, how they're moving, and other things that you may have noticed in those markets and how it compares to the LA, San Diego market?
Okay, that's a great question. I've thought about this a lot. Believe it or not, before this year, I never traveled anywhere. So that's something that sports cards has done for me, being in the hobby and being as active as I have been, is traveling to card shows is really a blessing. Before this year, I've probably been on a plane 4 times. I've been on a plane 6 times this year.
There you
alone.
go. There you go.
My first show that I got to travel to was with eBay at Culture Collision in Atlanta. So Prism God's right over there. If you have not gone to Culture Collision, that is a must. That's probably the first show that I've ever been to that I thought, wow, he's really doing this right. It's not only cards, it's about culture. It's in the name.
Yeah, he's bringing sneakers, comics, cars, and many other things together under one roof in one show.
Yes. And I think the funnest thing for me was really getting to know diehard Atlanta Brave fans. So that's something that I really recognize. And it seems obvious, but it's so cool to see it happen in person, where you go to a show in Atlanta and you're seeing a lot of Acuñas. You're seeing a lot of people buying and selling and trading Acuñas because he's so big in Atlanta. Same with Trey Young. They're kind of in the same way that you see a lot of Justin Herberts and Kobe Bryant selling here. So that's something that I really like to see in other markets. And I think Atlanta, compared to maybe the National, where we were on the East Coast, compares a lot to LA here with how diverse it was. Yeah, the diversity in people, and like we said, the diversity in collections. I think it's a lot more apparent here in places like LA and Atlanta.
It's great to get your perspective. So tell us more about Mama Breaks, some of the things that you're doing, and where people can find you on social media and other places going forward.
So Mama Breaks is me, essentially. Most of my activity is on Instagram, where I post essentially my journey, some of my collections, some of my best card hits from my breaks. I do weekly breaks on Whatnot and Card Shop Live. I'm working on content as we speak, and I like to tell people I'm just enjoying the hobby as much as I can. It's been the funnest thing I've ever done, and I hope to continue growing alongside everyone. So
I think I already know the answer to the next question, but what is in your PC from a card perspective and why?
my main card PC or personal collection is Clayton Kershaw cards. And 2008 Topps was actually the first baseball packs I've ever opened. If you know my story, I started with Pokemon cards young, but that was actually Kershaw's rookie year, and I feel like my Dodger fandom kind of grew up with him. His peak years was my peak Dodger fandom, so I really hold Kershaw and his story close to my heart. That's why I collect Kershaw.
What do you think after last night?
I think
I had to put it on the spot.
hiding the pain, trying to not think about it as much as possible. I did feel like, we weren't good offensively. We made some mistakes. So the pitching to me was good. Kershaw did put us in a position to win. We just didn't get it done, and I hope the Padres lose. Sorry.
As we sit close to San Diego.
But we'll get you guys next year.
Way to be positive about it. My last question for you is, as we look forward, we're getting to the end of 2022. We're about to be in 2023. What are some things you see that we may expect from the hobby or different changes within the hobby over the next 6 to 12 months? I know no one can predict that, but I want to get your insight.
That's a perfect question too that I've been thinking about a lot this past weekend. Actually, I think the best change that we will see is more women and more children in the hobby. So more, popularity gaining in non-sport cards too. I think Star Wars is really on the come up.
Yes.
Disney cards are coming soon. Heard it here first. So that definitely to me I'm excited to be a part of that.
Mama Breaks, Stephanie, I really appreciate your time, you being here, answering these questions. It was good to see you today. And this is our first interview in person. Good to be with you. Everyone, Stephanie, Mama Breaks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, FD. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
I'm excited too.
To be here to talk to Raphael. Prism God.
What up? What up?
Is here. I have a few questions for you today. Kind of pick your brain.
All right, let's go.
First, we'll start out with, let people know how you first got interested in the hobby and what excited you about cards.
I think the nostalgia of being a kid, walking around seeing cards, Michael Jordan rookie cards. I think it was like the most iconic card back then when I was young, and I felt like I couldn't buy. But just being able to see it was kind of fun. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so being a Bulls fan, that's the first thing you gravitate towards.
Southside.
There you go.
You've been to shows all over the country. What have you seen in different markets that may be different than the LA market or the San Diego market that people should know about?
Man, Cali's kind of lax, to be honest with you. I feel like Cali's a little lax than I'm used to. Man, being in the South, in Atlanta, I feel like, I go to Birmingham, I go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. Minus Miami. Miami might be the only exception because they get out later than probably you guys. But no, I think Vegas, 'cause I went there last week, I think it's probably, they're late risers. But LA's a little, California's just lax in general.
Now, when you say lax, let's break that down to people. What does that mean?
We by the ocean, man. We relaxing, we chilling. We get to see good cards. We got drinks over here. We got the game on. We just really kind of, it's a whole vibe. So that's what brings me to this wonderful state.
Another question I have for you. You develop keen strategies on how you buy what you do, from cards that may be lower value to cards that are higher value. Walk people through who may be new to the hobby and they're thinking about some things that they want to accomplish. Some high-level ideas on what strategies you may want to build in order to accomplish your goal.
I think you gotta have a goal. Like you said, you gotta have a goal. You gotta also mitigate your risk. I think, especially when today's market, because it's so volatile, you gotta mitigate your risk. Be willing to take, losses if you have to, and also take the profits when you can. It's one of those things where, if you buy a car for $1,000, you sell it for $1,500, you take that profit, and then if you find that maybe you're upside down with somebody else just to stay liquid, maybe you lose $200, $100, $50. Sometimes you even go sideways. You trade into something. So. I think a lot of people have to learn how to pivot in this market.
Let's talk more about pivoting, because I think sometimes people hear that term and they don't really know what that may mean. Talk more on that. Like, when you say pivot, what does that mean?
Well, when I first got into the new market, I got back in like 2015, 2016. I was buying baseball cards then. And I got to the point where I was just focused on prospect. I was buying, of course, the Bryce Harpers, the Mike Trouts back then.
Yes.
And of course, Mike Trout blew up. And I got back in 2017, and I started focusing on basketball because I could not keep up with all the prospects in baseball. So for me, so to answer your question in terms of pivoting, I had to learn to try different sports. So if you gravitate towards football, try basketball. If you like basketball, try baseball. Try something different. Try soccer. Be open to what might be out there. So when somebody asks me, if I'm buying, selling, or trading, I'm doing all. And most of the time they'll bring me something, and I might pivot and get a Halan soccer card because I feel like maybe I can move that card faster than the other card
you know, they maybe have in their arsenal, so to speak. So, yeah. Pivot.
Talk to people about Culture Collision, how you came up with that concept, and what's coming up in January. What can they expect?
I don't know if I can curse, but I would say hell of a show. But I think the thing is, Culture Collision was an idea that I felt like it was more of an opportunity. It was an opportunity to make things better, create change, create a space that I felt like people can enjoy. I think Del Mar, the Union Marketplace, I think they've done a wonderful job with this event. The amount of people they have here, the events, you know, the fact that they have the right type of vendors here, the right type of energy, the DJ, the music, and the sponsors and everybody who's contributed to making an excellent show.
We got Prism God on the stage.
I mean, you know, we here. But I mean, here's the thing. You don't have to sell me about California. So California's always a vibe for me. It's just fun. Anytime I can bring my lady to the beach and just enjoy ourselves and just go for a walk on the, you know, the beaches, it's always fun. We don't get that in Atlanta, so.
So tell us a little bit about the show that's coming up in January.
All right, so we're doing the first ever Card Star Weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, sponsored by, well, I don't say the sponsors yet, but we are partnered with Overtime Elite, which is Overtime Elite, OTE. They're kind of like, I would say they're like for the top prospects in basketball. They're partnered up with us for the first ever Card Star Weekend. It will feature sponsors and influencers in the space. So you may see some of your favorite sponsors, some of your favorite influencers playing in a basketball game, playing here in Atlanta at Overtime Elite Stadium. It's going to be really cool. We're going to have a three-point shootout, skills challenge. We're also going to have a 3-on-3 tournament at the show. A lot of cool ideas I'm not going to say yet, but just stay tuned for them.
You can find Raphael on Prism on Instagram at Prism God. Is there other ways that they can connect with you?
Culture Collision Trade Show on Instagram. Prism God, I have also IG, but I'm pretty accessible on IG, man. So Prism_God, you can hit me up anytime. Tons of people hit me up with questions. Tons of people hit me up with things to buy. You know, so I'm always open for all.
One thing I can always say is that we've reached out to Raphael many times, even before we even knew each other. He replies to DMs that he received, and I appreciate that about you. I really appreciate you being here, coming up here, spending the time with us, talking to us. Of course. It means a lot to me.
You know, I'm gonna tell you this one thing too, is people don't have to understand in this space, if you want to become successful, I'm the type of person that will give you the game, but the hustle is sold separately. So that means that the people that are out here, make sure that you're on time and you beat me here. If you beat me here, you're already winning. If you beat some of the people that I know, you're out here winning. And you also make sure you're the last one that's here. So, you know, meaning if the show starts on Thursday, you gotta be here on Wednesday. Because most of the time I'm usually here early.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Raphael, Prism God.
Thank you, brother.
Prism God in the house. Thank you, Raphael, for the interview. Before we get out of Del Mar at the end of the show, we wanted to take some time to give a thank you to Alex and Wiley from the Union Marketplace. So we're at the Union Marketplace show at Del Mar, and I really want to present a gift to Alex and Wiley here. Appreciation as far as me being a part of the show and the overall experience.
My God.
So we're going to give them both Rolling with FP hoodie. It's going to be real cool. Real cool. I think this is you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's you, brother.
Hey, and we're rolling. We always been rolling, but now we're rolling.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I love it, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you, bro.
The beginning. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
I'm wearing it right now.
Thank you. G, show everybody the show is breaking down. Let's do a panorama. Show is breaking down. We get into conversation. I'm here with Cars and Content EJ. And I say, hey man, he says, FD, I want to know more about you. What do you collect? And so I say, hey man, you need to know about me. I like Steph Curry. I'm prospecting on a young guy named James Wiseman. I like Poole, I like Flamingo. He says, I have a Wiseman. Then he pulls this card out.
We see things, the comps are probably like, well, I don't know, around 100, whatever. I told him, like, I'll give you, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks. He's like, what's your family? That's just the deal. I don't know.
It's a beautiful card, man. And I thought the show was over.
It's probably more, FD. It probably is more. I'm just letting you know, he's gone up quite, like, he's been killing it.
Dude, this dude's gonna be the man, man.
Hey.
This is special.
Before me and FD been talking, I know you guys have been asking for our live. We're setting it up. It's something you guys, is worth waiting for. We're both busy, schedules,
yes.
The union, Cars and Content, so we'll get something out there for you guys. So, yeah, man. It's all love. My brother right here.
My man. Bro, I appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
This is how we sign out. How do you sign out? I go like this. Peace, love, happiness, see you out. Like that?
I say, and we're rolling.
That's right. Peace.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Now, I want everybody to get out of that seat. You at home, get up. Just jam to the beat. Outro, baby. It was a pleasure to bring you the Delmar Show by the Union Marketplace. I was honored to be the host of the show. Can't wait to do more shows coming up. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications button. G and I want to bring you more content, and we fully intend to. We got some great stuff coming up for you. Peace!